So we've already seen how to conjugate verbs that end in AR in present tense. We've also learned about the importance of verb forms, where we have different numbers and different gender. And it tells us the context of who is doing the action, and that's why we have that in Spanish versus English. Now we're going to take a look at our ER and our IR verbs. They are similar. So an ER verb, we're going to have o, s, e, hemos, ais, en as our ending. We're going to remove the ER and we're going to add the appropriate ending for the person that is being spoken about. And then for IR verbs, you'll notice that the endings are almost identical, except for in the nosotros and vosotros form. Those two forms do have a difference between ER and IR verbs. Now, these have very similar endings, so you want to take a moment as you're in Portales and really zoom in on the vocabulary for this week and looking at AR, ER, and IR verbs and memorizing those endings so you don't get caught with an inappropriate ending in the nosotros or vosotros forms. So if you study that chart, it's going to help you, but you also need to know the actual ending for the verbs. So just like an AR verb, the yo form is going to have an O. We're going to drop the two-letter ending and add an O. Except for the yo form, all of the verb endings have an E for an ER verb. ER and IR verbs, like I said, have the same endings with the exception of nosotros and vosotros. The E goes to I. So if we take a look at our present tense verbs here, we have the list of ER and IR verbs. Commit this list to your memory and really pay attention when you're using nosotros or vosotros forms in Portales, because you really have to identify and make sure you get that proper ending. And it's not going to tell you that the problem is just you have an E instead of an I. So that's why it's going to be crucial to have this list handy. And then here's just an example. Ellos corren en el parque. Él escribe una carta. So you can see how the corren has been conjugated for the ellos form, and escribe has been conjugated for the él form. So make sure that in the Portales you're looking at the correct ending and that you're adjusting the conjugations for nosotros and vosotros forms.